So, what if waste wasn't an endpoint, but actually a beginning? Well, we're going to take a look at a city in Japan called Kamikatsu, and they are turning that exact idea into reality. They're pioneering this concept they call circular luxury. And trust me, this isn't just your standard recycling. It's like a form of modern-day alchemy.
All right, let's just jump right in with a question that really gets to the core of this whole thing. What if the most expensive piece of tech you own, I'm talking about the very microchips that power your entire life, what if they were made from yesterday's trash? I know, it sounds like something straight out of a movie, right? But in Kamikatsu, this isn't science fiction, it's the new reality.
And at the heart of this whole movement is this really powerful philosophy. They say, we dismantle the myth of permanence by engineering high-value rebirth from local refuse. So what does that actually mean? Well, simply put, they don't see garbage that needs to be managed. They see raw materials, just waiting for a second, maybe even more valuable life.
Okay, so the big question is, how do they actually pull this off? I mean, it sounds incredible. Before we get into all the high-tech magic, we've got to understand the foundation, the system behind it all. This is what they call their zero-waste blueprint, and it's really the story of how a tiny rural village turned itself into a global resource powerhouse.
And the results of this blueprint? Honestly, they're staggering. It all comes down to one single number, really. 80%. That's right, 80% of their community's waste is diverted from landfills. Think about that. 4/5 of what they throw away never actually becomes trash at all. And here's what that success looks like visually. That huge chunk, that's the vast majority of what most of us would just call trash. But here, it's given a whole new life through recycling, or even better, upcycling. And that little sliver left over, that's all that ever ends up buried in the ground. Just a tiny fraction. Now, getting to a number like that, it requires an absolutely incredible level of community commitment. We're not just talking about sorting into paper, plastic, and glass here. Oh no. The residents meticulously separate their waste into, get this, 45 distinct categories. 45! It's a level of precision that completely redefines what community participation can even look like.
And the crazy thing is, this transformation happened fast. I mean, Kamikatsu went from being a pretty typical rural village, facing a waste crisis, to a global leader in industrial upcycling. And they're not stopping there. Their vision just keeps expanding. We're talking autonomous robotics and smart grids on the horizon.
Okay, now for the part that sounds like straight up magic, the alchemy. This next section is all about how they turn what we'd call discarded trash into actual treasure. And not just any treasure, we're talking advanced technology. It's literally about unlocking the gold mine that we've all been burying in landfills for decades.
This is where the entire mindset just flips on its head. In Kamikatsu, trash isn't a problem to be solved. It's a high-grade mine. It's rich with valuable materials, and it's all just sitting there, waiting to be harvested right from their own backyards. So, you might be wondering, how does your old, busted smartphone actually become a new microchip? Well, it's this incredibly meticulous three-step process. First up, precision disassembly. They carefully take apart all the old electronics. Then step 2, highly specialized labs get to work extracting those precious rare earth minerals. And finally, those reclaimed minerals are used to fabricate brand new microchips. It's amazing, from your junk drawer to cutting-edge hardware. And this isn't just a win for the environment, which it is. It's also an economic masterstroke. It's genius, really. Think about it. Traditional supply chains for these minerals. They're volatile, they're finite, they're super expensive. But what they're doing, urban mining, it creates this stable, local, circular stream of resources. It basically insulates them from all those crazy global market shocks. But here's the thing. This incredible alchemy, it's not just limited to tech. That same philosophy is completely transforming the world of high craftsmanship and design. They call it the art of rebirth. And what we're seeing here is this true fusion of the old and the new. It's incredible. They're taking centuries of mastery in traditional Japanese woodworking and combining it with super modern tools like AI-assisted milling. And the raw materials themselves, just as innovative. We're talking recycled industrial polymers, even structural waste from old buildings. The result of all this? It's just breathtaking. This process creates luxury designer woodcraft and seriously high-end furniture, all from materials that anywhere else would have just been left to rot in a landfill. It's the ultimate proof that sustainability can and should be absolutely beautiful and sophisticated.
And let's be really clear about something. These are not cheap, eco-friendly knockoffs. That's not the point at all. The entire goal here is to create upcycled products that are literally engineered to outperform stuff made from virgin materials, especially in the luxury market. They're designed from the ground up to be better, stronger, and frankly, more desirable.
So all of this, it leads to this really fascinating cultural shift. I mean, what happens when sustainability itself becomes the ultimate status symbol? Let's dive into how Kamikatsu is fundamentally redefining what we even consider value in the modern age.
They've basically created a whole new category of goods. They call it circular luxury. And what it is a new class of high-end product where its value doesn't just come from a fancy brand name. Instead, the value is derived from the ingenuity of its rebirth and the complete transparency of its life cycle.
To make this a little more real, check this out. There's a local boutique there called Why Not? And in this shop, something as simple as discarded glass or scrap metal gets transformed by local artisans into these beautiful, limited edition tech accessories. Think about that. It's exclusivity born from shared resourcefulness. And this really reflects a much wider trend in what modern consumers are starting to value. You can see it here. The old school brand name is actually becoming less important than the product's story. People want to know, where did it come from? How was it made? And what values does it actually represent?
So it's important to remember that Kamikatsu isn't just some charming, isolated experiment. It's a blueprint. It's a potential future for urban living. In fact, their model is already being exported to megacities all over the world. And with things like autonomous waste collection, robotics, and smart grid integration just around the corner, the whole system is only going to get more efficient and more scalable.
Which really leaves us with one last provocative thought. In a world that's so full of mass production and these fleeting, fast fashion trends, is a product's story, its incredible journey from waste to wonder, is that becoming the ultimate form of luxury?